This is Taylor Morrison, also known as the brutally honest internet art critic, We Open.
This is the worst bullshit in art right now. Everyone thinks so. How does Abstract Mag not know that?
Currently, he lives in Porter Corners, a sleepy hamlet located in Saratoga, New York.
Okay, so we're out here. So is this another place? This is kind of where you.
Oh, I opened the bear shed, we call it. No, this is not a place I like to go. This has got history of my family's art in it. Just because, like, my mom, I've talked about it before. My mom's a painter. Her mom was a painter. So, like, this is obviously one of my things. But then, like, these are the kind of things I was growing up with in the basement. Yeah. I love these things that my mom did. These are like, this is what like I grew up, these are like oil pastel or like oil stick. She was making those when I was like a kid. And now I'm thinking like, oh God, like I'm making paintings just like her.
That one's really incredible right there.
Yeah. She's also just like good at like pillows and stuff. So that's my mom's stuff. My grandmother was much more like actually famous, and her stuff like we actually have to kind of keep nice because we can sell it and stuff. But those are my grandma's up there. She did like they're all scenes from around here, like back in the '70s. These two are I did these magnets in kindergarten, I think.
Yeah.
This is my nice round belly. When I was 6, or like, no, I was younger than 6. Must have been 5 or 6. A big belly. That's where I make coffee. It's my kitchen. Oh, that's another one. Actually, no, this is a painting I like of mine.
Oh, yeah.
So there's painting of mine, painting of my mom's, painting of me by my mom playing video games in high school. In my Lakai shirt. You can't make it out here with it. I was like, I got this orange Lakai shirt. I wore it every day.
That's awesome. Oh, this is one of the landscapes that you did.
Yeah, I did that one kind of recently, like this summer. My mom's house is also a pit of light. There's no light in here. These are all from my grandfather. And they're books that I've had since I've been around since I was a kid. He's got just a million books, but.
So these are ones that you kind of grew up.
Yeah, and then I took from him. He gave me eventually. The Civilization of the Goddess, The World of Old Europe. This is like a ton of just like what I think about, I'm very interested in Neolithic time, Neolithic art. And this is kind of a book on it, or like on a certain aspect of that. Just like everything, just like the things they're buried with, the ways they're buried, structures, basically just mapping out the entire Neolithic goddess civilization by Marija Gimatas. Sick book. And I'm glad my grandfather gave it to me. This is the book that Basquiat had.
Here, do you mind putting it in the light? Right
Yeah,
there?
that he got his symbols from. I don't know if it was this edition, but it's this book. There's.
Because I've definitely seen a couple of your critiques where it's like this sort of when someone in a maybe an unsophisticated or in a lazy way uses symbolism.
Yeah, I guess it's definitely just from, well, like, yeah, looking at things like this, like where the symbols come from or when they were used to actually, they weren't ironic about it, basically, in a deep sense, like, or not post about it. The scorpion meant a thing, and everyone kind of, or like people that were seeing this either understood or this is how they were learning this. It wasn't an aesthetic. in another way. The scorpion had meanings, and that's why it was a scorpion, and that kind of thing. And just, you know, there's no. Yeah, I like symbol. I love symbols. I love symbols. I just like it when they're used for referencing and not for stylizing, I guess. You know.
So you're kind of temporarily here right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Now that, I'm making money with the dungeon, it's like I'm getting close to, like, okay, feeling comfortable with like the income stream being regular enough to get an apartment, basically. Start renting, which is like, you know, yeah, a big deal. So I am like right there right now. Like, okay, now it's time. Gotta like get on Zillow for real. And it has been like 2 years since I moved out of the house that I was living in. So now there are definitely parts of this feel like home. And I really love the studio outside and all that stuff, but yeah. So what ended up happening was work consumed me, and like being a dad were the things that consumed me, but they weren't the things that also fulfilled me in a lot of ways either. But like I felt like those were the things I had to pour myself into. And I did kind of, and like there were definitely, I don't regret pouring myself into being a father. Like that's something I don't regret. But yeah, my mental health was just constantly suffering, just constantly like I just can't get anything that I want to do going, anything that I actually care about going for me, Yeah, just a lot of pressure to chill, a lot of pressure to calm down and just realize that this is life, and you go to your job and you come home and you cook dinner and you do this and that's what you do forever, and that's what people do. I was like trying, I was like, okay, right, that's right, that is correct, that is what adult human beings do. They are okay with that, that's what life is, that's what we get. But I'm never gonna be really happy because that is what you get. Is what I'm realizing. But something about not getting to make my stupid art all day, every single day, doing only what I want constantly, drove me crazy because I'm a baby,
And so I guess, you had that, you stepped away from your job more or less.
I did. I had a series of like breakdowns at work of just my psychology. I couldn't handle thinking of the idea of working there for the rest of my life, and there was nothing showing me that wasn't going to be the case. So I became like an animal trapped in a little cage, for sure. And yeah, there was like 2 times at work where I just was writhing on the floor, screaming and crying. And, it was pretty clear that I should probably take a little break. And I haven't gone back since. And that's been like a year.
Well, now it seems like you're, in a way, it kind of worked out. You have this whole new lease on life with, the art criticism, and then your art is taking off. How was that a surprise? How?
Absolute surprise. I mean,
what were your thoughts like going into it, and then when it was happening?
I made my first little reel about art. I'm pretty sure it was 5 days after being released from a mental hospital. So yeah, I was not expecting to be an influencer at all. Not an influencer, but just I wasn't expecting to be anything. I was at my bottom, Well, I wasn't at my bottom. I was at my bottom when I got to the mental health facility. Mental health, the place in Arizona that I went to helped a ton. And that's why I was able to kind of I got some ideas about what my illness kind of is and how to fight against it, and the will to fight against it, to fight against depression, basically. And so I made the videos as like, you know, I turn my anger inwards. It's very difficult for me not to like hate myself, you know what I mean? And not to just doubt everything I think, hate everything I say, just be disgusted by myself, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of that's what I have to fight against, basically. And so they were a practice in saying something that I actually think and not saying sorry and not saying, well, it's just what I think, you know, like trying to be a person that can say what they think in the world. Just say something that they actually, to be able to, yeah, like I just, very quiet normally, up until now. I've been very quiet my entire life. Just because I haven't trusted anything I've thought. So on top of being, you know, a great surprise in terms of like, oh, I can make money this way, it's just validation for me, which is bad in a sense. Like you're not supposed to get validation from social media.
Later that day, I decided it would be fun to take a break and explore one of Taylor's other hobbies, skateboarding.
Did you have skate videos growing up that you kind of always went to?
Yeah. Manic Made by the ES skate shoe company. Misled Youth by Zero. The girl video, that the Mouse and Yeah Right. Those were kind of like later that was like the peak of skate videos. Was like, or I don't really follow them too much anymore, but like for me that was like, wow, how could it get better than Yeah Right? In terms of like like weaving narratives and weaving, you know, making a skate video feel like a full like experience, you know. But if you're like me, like I was never great, but I just would spend all day thinking of things to do on the ramps, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I would picture the thing in my mind, and that was fun, and then I would go try it and either fail or succeed, and that was fun. And there were a bunch of people around me doing the same thing, and that was fun. And there were, you know, like being at a skate park in the late 90s, early 2000s was a golden period for sure, for anybody that probably was at any skate park anywhere in the world at that time. It was very special culture.
So cool. That's quality shoe right there. Yeah, the leather goes all the way down.
It just keeps when you land, you're not like
a skate shoe.
Are you alright? Ooh. Yeah. Let's go to the hospital.
Did you pass out when you fell?
I didn't.
Do you feel dizzy, lightheaded?
I did. I mean, I feel a little weird like I hit my head, but I don't feel lightheaded or dizzy, no.
Did you just face plant?
I did.
I'm sorry. When did that happen?
Probably 25
minutes ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
If your vision changes or you feel like you're going to pass out, go up and tell reception.
Okay.
I'm just finishing up with a patient, then I'll get your vitals.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
This is the real dungeon.
Yeah, this is the actual dungeon. I'm going to close the door behind you.
Do you mind talking about this one over here?
Yeah, that's Kentucky coffee. That's the one that I just put those seeds that this shape is onto the painting out there. These are like seed pods up there. This was right after I saw the Hilma Klint thing at the Guggenheim, and I had to do my own, you know, as everyone did. But yeah, so I was thinking, okay, what's like, you know, I was looking at her notebooks there, and it was like, it just struck me how much of a scientist she was. I think I've spoken about that before, like how rigorous and just down into like nature she was, and like experimental in that way, and not just like a mystical figure, you know. Or, you know, it was, but it was very rigorous. That was like one of the live paintings I did last winter, when I just was like, yep, I'm just gonna do the Venus in my own way, obviously.
This is when you were talking about kind of doing pieces inspired by other.
Yeah, yep, right. Like, I was like, I can do this while I'm talking and answering questions. Mm-hmm. And so it was a different thing. People were asking me, like, are you doing something different? I'd be like, I guess I am. Or like, you know, everything affects how you make a work of art in the end. And you're like, are you worried that talking to us on the live and painting will like affect the work? And it made me think like about all the things that I'm not worried about affecting my work that are also influencing me, you know. I started doing the live because I was just lonely. You know, I wanted to talk to people. I was making art. I missed doing that. I missed being in like a studio space. Mm-hmm. You know, like I can paint down here in the dungeon for a long time by myself, but it's nice to have people too.
Are you kind of surprised that this hasn't, like, it's taken this long for something like this to take off in the art world? Because this is so much a part of what it means to be an artist. You know, the criticism and in a lot of ways, it's almost like art criticism has lost its ability to like resonate with everyday people because it's so academic and intellectual.
I think that is why it's fallen off, or why it's rarefied at this point. It's like that. It seems to be that being able to think and talk about art is only for certain people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't even know what the criteria for that kind of person. You know what I mean? It's, but like there's that sense, and yeah, like I kind of fundamentally disagree with that. Like I think art is for people, and not, you know, it's not for certain people, and so yeah, there's just, I don't know when I got to it, but I was like, I do not care what art means, like this definition of art that people are after, or a, you know, all this meaning discussion. Does art have meaning? Does it not have meaning? You know, I guess I just satisfied myself with the answer, like, I don't care.